Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Yasodanandana Brajajana Ramjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Radha Kunja Bihari Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Bhavati Mai Subhadra. Jaya Śrīnataji, Jai Bhagopal, Jai Śrīnataji, Jai Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gauranikai, Jaya Gauranikai, Jaya Gauranikai, Jaya Gauranikai. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Gurudev. Jai Om Vishnupada Dharamahamsa Pribhranakacharya Astotra Satyashishimara Divine Grace, founder of ISKCON Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Their most merciful Lordship Shri Kunja Bihari Ki Shri Jagannath Shri Baladev Mai Subhadra Ki Shri Nathaji Shri Balagopal Ki Shri Gornitai Ki Go Premanand. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the Lord Spirit of Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Sto Jayam Udiraye Nasta Prayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Naishtaki. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, Text You know, 39. Okay, text 39. Kachit te namayam tata kachit te namayam tata Rasta teja vibhasi me Brasta teja vivasi me alabdha mano vagnata alabdha mano jagdakta kim ba tata Chirosita Kim Vatata Chirosita Kachitte Namayam Tata Kachitte Namayam Tata Brasta Teja Vibhasi me Brasta Teja Vibhasi me Alabdha Manubhagnata Alabdha Manubhyagnata Kimba Tata Chirosita Kimba Tata Chirosita
Kachitte namayam tata
Kachite namayam tata
Rashtateja vivashime
Rastateja vimasime
Alabdha manu vagyata
Alabdha manuvajñata
Kimva tata
Kimba tata
chirosita
chirosita Kachite namayam tata Brastateja vibhasime Alabdha manuvajñata Kimba tata chirosita Kachit whether Te your Anamayam health is all right. Tata my dear brother Brasta bereft Teja luster Vibhasi appear May to me Alabdhamana without respect Avagnata neglected Kim whether Va or Tata my dear brother Chirosita because of long residence Kachitte namayam tata brasta teja vibhasi me alabdhamano vagnyata kimba tata chirosita. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnadavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. My dear brother Arjuna, please tell me whether your health is all right. You appear to have lost your bodily luster. Is this due to others disrespecting and neglecting you because of your long stay at Dwarka? Please repeat. My brother Arjuna, please tell me whether your health is all right.
Please tell me whether your health is all right.
You appear to have lost your bodily luster.
You appear to have lost your bodily luster.
Is this due to others disrespecting and neglecting you?
Is this due to others disrespecting and neglecting you?
Because of your long stay at Dwarka?
Because of your long stay at Dwarka.
My brother Arjuna, please tell me whether your health is all right. You appear to have lost your bodily luster. Is this due to others disrespecting and neglecting you because of your long stay at Dwarka? Purport. From all angles of vision, the Maharaj inquired from Arjuna about the welfare of Dwarka. But he concluded at last that as long as Lord Sri Krishna himself was there, nothing inauspicious could happen. But at the same time, Arjuna appeared to be bereft of his bodily luster. And thus, the king inquired of his personal welfare and asked so many vital questions. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshusvunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Is this Yudhishthira? Requesting Arjuna. So we see Yudhishthira's ability to discern the countenance of Arjuna gives him understanding that something is not exactly right. And as we know from past verses that Yudhishthira is very adept at being able to read people's faces and omens and signs of the times. So he's inquiring, hoping to hear the best, hoping against hope, so to speak. I'm going to go back again to Pastimes of Lord Ramachandra in Canto 9, because I think that there is a great value to understanding the nature of the consciousness of the citizens who are granted residence inside the city of Lord Kṛṣṇa, inside Lord Kṛṣṇa's cities, and even in any particular of his cities of his incarnations. Sukadev, this is when Lord Ramachandra is being installed on the throne. Sukadeva Goswami said, therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, accepted an acharya and performed sacrifices with opulent paraphernalia. Thus he himself worshipped himself, for he is the Supreme Lord of all demigods. Lord Ramachandra gave the entire east to the Hota priest, the entire south to the Brahma priest, the west to his Varyo priest, and the north to the Udgata priest, the reciter of the Samaveda. In this way, he donated his kingdom. Thereafter, thinking that because the Brahmins have no material desires, they should possess the entire world. Lord Ramachandra delivered the land between the east, west, north, and south to the acharya. After thus giving everything in charity to the Brahmins, Lord Ramachandra retained only his personal garments and ornaments. And similarly, the queen, Mother Sita, who left with only her nose ring and nothing else. All the Brahmins who were engaged in the various activities of the sacrifice were very pleased with Lord Ramachandra, who was greatly affectionate and favorable to the Brahmins. Thus, with melted hearts, they returned all the property received from him and spoke as follows. O Lord, you are the master of the universe. What have you not given to us? You have entered the core of our hearts and dissipated the darkness of our ignorance by your effulgence. This is a supreme gift. We do not need a material donation. O Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who have accepted the Brahmins as your worshipable deity. Your knowledge and memory are never disturbed by anxiety. You are the chief of all famous persons within this world, and your lotus feet are worshipped by sages who are beyond the jurisdiction of punishment. O Lord Ramachandra, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Sukadeva Goswami continued, once while Lord Ramachandra was walking at night, incognito, hiding himself by a disguise to find out the people's opinion of himself, he heard a man speaking unfavorably about his wife Sita Devi. Speaking to his unchaste wife, the man said, you go to another man's house, and therefore you're unchaste and polluted. And he's speaking to his wife, this man, particular man. I shall not maintain you anymore. A henpecked husband like Lord Ram may accept a wife like Sita, who went to another man's house, but I am not henpecked like him. Therefore I shall not accept you again. Sukadeva Goswami said, men with a poor fund of knowledge and a heinous character speak nonsensically. Fearing such rascals, Lord Ramachandra abandoned his wife Sita Devi. Although she was pregnant, thus Sita Devi went to the ashram of Valmiki Muni. When the time came, the pregnant mother Sita Devi gave birth to twin sons, later celebrated as Lava and Kush. The ritualistic ceremonies for their birth were performed by Valmiki Muni. O Maharaj Parikshit, Lord Lakshman, had two sons named Angara and Chitraketu. And Lord Bharat also had two sons named Taksha and Pushkala. So these are going to be rulers. Satrughna had two sons named Sabahu and Sutrasen. When Lord Bharat went to conquer all directions, he had to kill many millions of Gandharvas, who are generally pretenders. Taking of all their wealth, he offered it to Lord Ramachandra. Satrughna also killed a Rakshasa named Lavana, who was the son of Madhu Rakshasa. Thus he established in the great forest known as Madhavan the town known as Mathura. Being forsaken by her husband, Sita Devi entrusted her two sons to the care of Valmiki Muni. Then, meditating upon the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra, she entered into the earth. After hearing the news of Mother Sita's entering into the earth, Personality of Godhead was certainly aggrieved, although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Upon remembering the exalted qualities of Mother Sita, he could not check his grief in transcendental love. This act of Mother Sita Devi, she is also an expansion of Srimati Radharani, just as Mother Lakshmana is also an expansion of Srimati Radharani. And so Mother Bhumi is the wife of Lord Vishnu. And as such, she is also Mother Lakshmi Devi. So it is by this authority that she has when people are seeking for wisdom and knowledge, and they seek Mother Lakshmi for help that they need in being able to speak properly. She is in control of all of that. And so see, even though Vedic culture, Vedic literature is being looked at by modern society as very patriarchal, but in effect it is the most matriarchal, giving mother, showing the value of mother's life and how chaste Mother Sita was through the whole thing, and yet she took it upon herself to leave this world by that spoken of by strangers, by people that were just in the outside world. The attraction between man and woman, or male and female, always exists everywhere, making everyone always fearful. Such feelings are present even among the controllers, like Brahma and Lord Shiva, and is the cause of fear for them, but to speak of others, who are attached to household life in this material world. After Mother Sita entered the earth, Lord Ramachandra observed complete celibacy and performed an uninterrupted Agnihotra yajna for 13,000 years. After completing the sacrifice, Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet were sometimes pierced by thorns when he lived in Dandakaranya, placed those lotus feet in the hearts of those who always think of him. Then he entered his own abode, the Vaikuntha planet beyond Brahmajyoti. We want to go beyond, we have to go beyond the Brahmajyoti to get into the Vaikuntha realm. Lord Ramachandra's reputation for having killed Ravan with showers of arrows at the request of the demigods, and for having built a bridge over the ocean, does not constitute the factual glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, whose spiritual body is always engaged in various pastimes. Lord Ramachandra has no equal or superior, and therefore he had no need to take help from the monkeys to gain victory over Ravan. Lord Ramachandra's spotless name and fame, which vanquish all sinful reactions, are celebrated in all directions, like the ornamental cloth of the victorious elephant that conquers all directions. Great saintly persons like Markandeya Rishi lived 3 days of Lord Brahma, still glorify his characteristics in the assemblies of great emperors like Maharaj Yudhisthira. Similarly, all the saintly kings and all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, worship the Lord by bowing down with their helmets. Let me offer my obeisances unto his lotus feet. Lord Shiva, the greatest Vaishnava, is always chanting Lord Ram's name. O King Parikshit, anyone who orally receives the narrations concerning the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes will ultimately be freed from the disease of envy and thus be liberated from the bondage of fruitive activities. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, how did the Lord conduct himself and how did he behave in relationship with his brothers, who were expansions of his own self? And how did his brothers and the inhabitants of Ayodhya treat him? Sukadeva Goswami replied, after accepting the throne of the government by the fervent request of his younger brother Bharat, Lord Ramachandra ordered his younger brothers to go out and conquer the entire world, while he personally remained in the capital to give audience to all the citizens and residents of the palace and supervise the governmental affairs with his other assistants. So, we see from collection of other writings evidence that civilizations, some of whom write historically with the belief that they had knowledge of the entire world. And we know from evidences of that which is described by those civilizations of floods that covered the entire world, that there are histories of 10,000 years ago remaining with palaces that old on this planet during the time the floods are described as having covered the entire world. But here we see with Lord Ramachandra, who brought Sita Devi on a flying machine to other planets in this universe. Not only did he have full knowledge of, according to the scriptures, during the time he was manifesting, the common height was about 25 feet tall. So Lord Ramachandra stood approximately 25 feet tall. And so he's giving instructions to his brothers to go conquer the world with full knowledge of what the world is. Not some limited amount of belief about the world, because he had full knowledge not only of what the world is, but of the universe. Krishna is ultimately the controller of the universe also. So, we know this time that we are being given the great privilege of living through now. It is a great privileged time because we are at the beginning stages of the Golden Age, in which will be manifested the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through his people, giving them the perfection of the cities spoken of in all the Vedas as that which sages of old would seek to perfect, but which Krishna gives to his devotees as a matter of necessity, you may say, according to time and circumstance. He gives abilities when they are needed in the service, in the eternal service of the Supreme Person. So you can receive many different kinds of abilities that Krishna is willing to give to his servants out of love for his devotees, desire to want to give knowledge of him to everyone in the world. So this is what we have the great privilege and opportunity now of doing when we receive the ability through this internet that has been established now. We can communicate with people through the whole world and have our voices be heard everywhere on the entire planet. So this is looked at as also a siddhic perfection, in effect one expanding their bodies, so to speak, many times. Previously, by physically being able to do that literally, yogis were able to do that 7 times. But now we are showing, even by our machinery, our advancements of mechanical abilities, that these past siddhic perfections now are being obtained by mechanical means. But from another perspective, using mechanical means makes us therefore dependent upon the mechanics. So I've been sharing my own experience with the chanting of the Gayatri mantra. And I see as well, every morning when I'm waking up, that the sun doesn't come up at the same time every day, which is revealing to us that our bodies right now are not functioning within the realm of our daily activities as it used to when man was regulated by the sun. Because right now, we're regulated by the machine of clocks, by the ticking of the clock. So every day at 9 o'clock, we are believing it is the same time, because the clock is telling us that it's 9 o'clock. But the sun is in a different position. We are born and governed and ruled by the sun, and our bodies are made and in tune with the sun. And we're not using a calendar based on that. We're not using a time system based on that. And so our bodies are totally out of sync with the way they were originally created to be in sync with. So if you were regulated by the sun and you ate the same time every day that the sun was directly overhead, your body would be getting full digestion, most efficient digestion. But now, because of the way we are keeping track of time, you might at the beginning of a season be taking lunch at noon with the sun overhead. Then by the time 3-4 months have passed, you're half hour, 45 minutes, maybe even an hour difference. And so your body is not able to be put into a regulated state in that manner. And this is what happens when they're in states of deep meditation. The soul that they are is creating habits that we don't have access to with the kind of bodies we have now, because we have over time become degraded in our abilities to exist even. We can't go very long without even breathing for more than a few minutes. And then eating as well, and these things we become so totally dependent upon. But as we see in the case of Lord Ram, it was explained, some 13,000 years he meditated for. So we can see that they have different bodies according to different consciousness. So now, at this stage of development of the human being, coming to the most degraded season of the universe now, we have reached such a low state of consciousness, Krishna has to, in order to get the very few people that will come to him to become interested, he's like opening up the floodgates, knowledge, love of God. Now anybody can read these literatures, anybody can open up any book in the Bhagavatam, can have full access to Chaitanya Charitamrita. And still, it remains that there is a percentage of people who will take the teachings of God as real. And so Krishna reveals to us how rare it is indeed that those who are even coming to the path of spirituality, who are coming for the purpose of knowing him. A lot of them are coming for the purpose of developing abilities or having the ability to do certain things or to produce certain things. All these being tainted desires that keep us from full knowledge of what pure love is. Until we act out of pure love, we won't know what pure love is. And so the Vedas are describing those acts of pure love as that being done by the human being without expectation of anything in return. So that puts the Brahminical culture in a very unique place. And as we see Lord Ram revealing the qualification of one in that position to rule the planet is that he is of the mind to give everything to the Brahminical class, the ruling class, the educational class, the class who is realized of what is beneficial for all life, for all living beings. Ram, the qualified controller of the entire planet, is making a recognized statement in his giving of everything he has to the Brahmins, Sita Devi included. She had nothing but her earrings left, or her nose rings left. So, in this is a revelation of the requirements necessary, the consciousness necessary, the mood of a controller who is in that position, qualified to be in that position. He's not in that position for his own well-being. And his love for his subjects is evidence of his own nature and the mood he has. And the subject's love for him is that force that has put him also in that position. They begged him when he came back to be their ruler. As did Bharat Maharaj, who was put in that position by his mother. And Bharat wanted Lord Ram to take the seat as well. Probably more so than anyone else, because he felt awkward by being put into that position. And today, see, this is just a completely different. If someone can steal a leadership position, even by acts today, that might be considered cheating. This is going on over and over and over again in modern society. So if modern society doesn't set as the highest level of attainment for the conscious human being to attain love of God, and in that following the precepts of God, they're going, the only other result that can be produced separate from that is the kind of chaos we are experiencing now in present forms of government that are going on throughout the world. People are trying to run from one country to another country to another country. But if your consciousness is controlled, see, there is a great degree of influence that the leaders of the nations have, because they're taking responsibility by making statements that in fact affect all their subjects. Then they are having to take upon themselves both 1/6 of the karma, good and bad, is because that the power of their words has effects on the general public, and that can be for the very good. And that's what the subjects of Ayodhya recognized in Lord Ram. By serving Ram, then they were recognizing that they would be bringing the ultimate good for all of humanity and all of the city that they were living in. So if all the members of the city have the same mentality like this towards one another within the city, and all the cities of all the nations of the world have the same mentality, then we will be one people. And that's how the world was originally meant to be, that all human beings can live in peace and harmony on the planet. And every day seeing the varieties of expressions that every community, every nation on the planet has in its expression for their love for the Supreme Person from whom all has come. And so the celebrations that could be experienced by human beings if they were all simply living to please the Supreme Person. Breaks down this false ego, gives us a perspective of that which is greater than we are in our consciousness, and an aim that we can have as communities towards working together as a whole. It keeps us in a united consciousness with one another. Everybody has to cook. So if everybody knows how to remove themselves from the karmic reactions we get by taking the energy that is not ours and using it, stopping its life. Everything we need to continue our life here has life itself. And we stop those lives to continue ours. And so that's what karma is. So we're not becoming free from karma. We're becoming more and more bound by karma. Those that are free from karma are free because they're putting into practice that which they have learned by association with those who have gained knowledge from those who have direct contact with the Supreme Person. So we are passing down the practices of those who have direct contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in so doing then, we please the Supreme Person who has control of how much product the earth produces, how much ability human beings are able to develop, and how much energy of the Supreme Persons they're able to use for the functions they are performing in their lives. All of this is controlled and regulated by the Supreme Person. And if we get down to the basics of what we have to do to just exist in this world, there will be so much time to read about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his activities here. When I first joined the movement, we were instructed and we were following strictly every day reading 1 hour Bhagavatam, 1 hour Chaitanya Charitamrita, worship service every morning, starting at least an hour before sunrise, chanting 16 rounds, and offering, taking into our bodies only that which is offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this was being looked at as the only means we have of becoming free from the bondage that we found ourselves in before we came to the movement. Free from bondage we knew we would have to suffer from once we were leaving these bodies if we didn't get free from karma. Well, karma, good and bad, by the devotees' understanding, is both bad. Because in order to receive the reward of good karma, you have to be in a place where good karma exists, which is the material universe. So the devotee's intentions, by pleasing the Supreme Person, automatically then he develops the consciousness of the living entities that are in the spiritual world. So that's why when we have association with advanced souls sometimes, we see their instructions seem very strict or very powerful, very forceful even. And the longer we have been outside of the realm of knowing what the spiritual practices are, the more difficult those instructions will seem to us to be, the longer we have been out. And the more we are demanding of our own personal desires to be fulfilled, the more that false ego will be more difficult to break. We do have to break our false egos, and it's an ongoing effort, daily effort, because this false ego, it's part of being born into the material world that we carry with us, and we will have until we get out of the outer coverings of this universe, which is false ego. This false ego covers the whole universe. Everybody in it is affected by it and their association with others. When we get out, and in fact, see, Krishna has the ability, and there will come a time when everything is back absorbed into his body. Then there's no more false ego, period. When everything's in Krishna's body that was manifest as the spiritual world, as the material world. And that has happened so many times because this inhaling and exhaling of Mahavishnu has been going on since time immemorial. There's no beginning and there's no ending. So we see the future. And we know that Krishna knows the future because when he writes, he tells us all the histories of the families that are coming and the names of the kings who will be ruling during those times, naming each and every family of the future for thousands of years. In 427,000 more years, Kalki Avatar will incarnate on this planet. And in the writing, Kalki Purana, is listed all the kings who will be in positions of leadership from now all the way until then. So when we read these genealogical histories of the past saintly persons, we read them now after a long time that they have been written, not knowing that in case of Bhagavatam, these genealogical histories had been predicted. The family names had been predicted for thousands of years, perfectly predicted, revealing the supreme, all-knowing consciousness of the personality of Godhead, who himself is writing these Vedas, giving to us that eternal truth that no other truth can compare to. So we absorb this knowledge. It is that the soul is longing for, to know of. It is that satisfies the soul, because it is these eternal pastimes that are of the same nature of the soul itself. And it quickens to the mind of the participant who hears these pastimes of Krishna, the reality of the substance of eternity, of the substance of God's body, of the substance of the soul, which is the same substance, knowledge, Satchit Ananda, which we are tasting as we hear of Krishna and as we hear of the pastimes of Krishna. It is, without us even knowing, it is the means for us to be able to taste the substance of the soul, substance of the soul. Because that you're hearing about Krishna is giving you relationship with Krishna. And that we put in our minds because the consciousness is out of place. By coming into the material world with material desires, automatically the consciousness is out of place and have to be readjusted. So we reevaluate with knowledge everything that we have access to, and then realign it in our minds as to what value it has now. So we do that with the spiritual world, we do that with the material world, we do that with the things in it, with the activities we take part in. And so this is a general activity the mind is engaging itself in practically on a constant basis. As soon as you look at someone, you start analyzing what that person's about, where they're from, what kind of language they might speak. Are they a happy person? Do they have a smile on their face? Are they looking friendly at you, or are they an enemy? Immediately the mind is conjuring all these things. Because it's been put into so many forms of life that has had enemy and foe, enemy and friend, friend and foe, friend and foe. And so we're constantly analyzing in that way one another, not knowing ultimately that we are all equally subservient forms of energy with the ability to decide what we will be used for, whether we will be used in the hands of the Supreme Person for the purpose of the Supreme Person, or whether we will be used in the hands of the illusory energy to create the illusion of our desires to be fulfilled. I say illusions of our desires because we think, many times we are desiring what is not actually good for us. And so if we think we are desiring what is good for us, and it's not, then that's an illusion. And that's our problem. That's why we came into the material world, and now we have to be instructed to help us to realize that we have to actually get out of the material world, not want more what is in the material world. And as long as that obtaining what is in the material world is being looked at as an advancement of the soul in society, it will continue to experience that conditioning, causing it to believe that involving itself in the material energy is the substance of its pleasure. And this is the big illusion that we all have in the material world. We're all thinking that this material world is a way for us to enjoy ourselves. And we don't know where sublime ecstasy comes from. And we don't know, and it is because we don't know the nature of the soul. And for the most part, I can say, on the planet, for the most part, more than the majority of the people on the planet are not self-realized. And when the entire planet comes to the state of self-realization, it will come to the state of being able to be under the privilege of being ruled by one philosophy, by a philosopher so far profoundly, far advanced in understanding of human nature. Hearing the teachings of such a person instills within the hearers the desire to want to know that eternal knowledge that brings liberation. And that's what we're being given in the form of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, in the form of all these writings It's personal association of the person being described in all these teachings. We're getting, through hearing, the process is to gain personal association of God. And that's gained by the development of our consciousness when we hear these things, and how we think towards Krishna then. When we're hearing about Krishna, what are we thinking about Krishna? And as we formulate those loving exchanges with Krishna in our minds, ultimately, Krishna revealed that to us, to be able to have that with us, and then gives us himself, ultimately. Because we're formulating with our mind that which is based on truth. Each day it becomes more and more perfect. And Krishna is right there to help us realize. And in the form of the deity also now, because of this fallen age, we shouldn't see the form of the deity as some out-of-place religion of old, but rather a way Krishna has made it easier for us to be able to understand his nature, to be able to understand the appearance of his face, the appearance of his body in relationship to the rest of his body, and also as a means of practicing the etiquette of being in Krishna's presence. So this that is looked at by many religions as taboo, because they have previously practiced it improperly, which doesn't negate the fact that there is a you can say authentic application of worship of the deity of God in the form God has authorized. And every other form is worthless, and concoctions of the mind do not bring the same result as that which is prescribed by the Supreme Person to be engaged in. So this is why so severely in many scriptures of the world, worshiping of idols is punishable. Worship of idols is punishable. But that does not negate the fact that Krishna has himself authorized the authentic form of worship of him. And this comes only by personal association with those who have been in contact with the association of those who have been in contact with, ultimately, the Supreme Person. So we're getting a direct connect. And so, without the understanding of the application of the teachings according to time and circumstance, everybody is looking at all of their teachings without the ability to apply it to time and circumstance. And so they're fighting against one another, trying to apply principles, in some cases, which were meant for circumstances that were developed thousands of years ago, which are now changed, which is why Krishna, in each age, as the degradation of human beings happens, and ultimately when Kalki comes, it will be not degradation, but advancement of souls that Kalki will bring, the highest age in which souls live to be 100,000 years old. And as is brought out in this 9th canto, which I hope to be encouraging you to read, 9th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, that all those inhabitants of the cities of God are given by God Himself the ability to live and leave the planet they're living on when they choose, when they want to leave. This is one fringe benefit of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And all we have to do is follow the principles to be able to create in the mind of God that which pleases Him. And He explains how to do that. So this chanting of the holy names, this distribution of the knowledge of God, taking of the foodstuffs that's on God's own plate, making that our daily activities, rising early in the morning, to serve and sing and dance in ecstasy. God's asking us to become the kinds of beings that is the same nature as the soul. That means we should be living in ecstasy and bliss. We should be so happy, jumping up and down. This is how it was in Sankirtan. When we come in the morning program, devotees would start singing and dancing. It would build up and build up and build up, and it'd get into such a tremendous amount of energy putting out by everybody's just sweating up a storm, which in a sense, we're not supposed to be sweating in the temple, but you couldn't help it. It just became such an invigorating experience, an exuberation of release of energy that had been piling up all your lifetime. When you first come to the temple, the first time you come to the temple, the realization, Krishna gives you a deep realization for that first time because you have not committed any offenses against anybody personally in the temple. So you can get a great taste when you first come. And what we have to do then is stay in that mood of awe and reverence towards Krishna, and He be revealing to us every day greater aspects of His personality that we thought we had known so much about. And every day we get a greater realization about the person of God, the nature of God, and the ability He can work through us to give us perceptions that the mind can reach to, abilities that it has that it wouldn't otherwise have if it was engaging itself in any other energy. There's varieties of energies being used by people in the world for varieties of purposes. So if your purpose is not what the purpose of the ISKCON movement is, which is to liberate souls and bring them back to Godhead, if you don't have any interest in that, there's no reason for you to be listening to what I'm saying. There's no reason for you to be reading Bhagavatam. But if in fact you do see around you circumstances that you think should be better, you see environmental situations being created by man and animal and everything else, the storms, the wind, the rain, if these things seem imperfect to you, if death itself seems like an extraordinary passing of souls, the experience that they have to go through, yes, it is. And if it seems to you that there might possibly be a place where this does not even exist, yes, there is such a place. And that's what we are saying. Bhagavatam gives us realization of, by simply meditation of, by reading about, by study of. So, we're way over now, so time. Any comments, any questions, any real? Sorry I took so long in class. Jai.
Thank you.
Jai. Grantara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Jai. Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.